My name's Caldwell. I'm the executive director of the Songbirds Foundation. I got this job kind of by accident. I've worked in the nonprofit sector for about 20 years now, and just got my start working at an arts council in Mississippi. And since then, I've started several nonprofits. And the last 8 years, I worked at the John C. Campbell Folk School, which is an art school for adults over in North Carolina. And it's kind of a long story. My wife moved here. She got a job working for Lyndhurst. And then Johnny Smith, who is the president of the museum, approached me about the fact that the museum wanted to start a foundation. And they wanted to do something in the community for kids, but they didn't really know what. And then he asked me if I'd be interested in kind of coming on board to spearhead that and figure out what the foundation would do, start the foundation, and then kind of move it to the next point. I think nonprofit work in general, where it's really rewarding, it also is difficult. I mean, it's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of just kind of getting a lot of ducks in a row. I think people don't really understand nonprofit work. They just kind of think of it as, you're out there, you're not making a profit, which is not anywhere near what you're doing. You are trying to have a successful business. And it's always difficult to fundraise and make sure that you have the money that you need to really deliver your program at a high level. I think that's always the most challenging thing, is just making sure that we have the support that we need to be able to deliver the program. If I had to tell someone anything about nonprofit work, I think that you have to be persistent. I think that you make a sacrifice and you work extremely hard. And then as you progress, things usually open up, but you have to have that. You got to want to do it. I had some great supporters, including like Steve Earle and the Dukes came to the benefit show for us, helped us raise a lot of money. We have some great private donors who have donated, and we've been able to raise a lot of money and do a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time. So I don't feel like this nonprofit has been as big of a struggle as some of the others I've worked with. I guess I was 15 years old. I started a band. And like most bands, not all bands, but like most bands that are comprised of 15-year-olds, we were not very good. And we just couldn't admit that we weren't good, I think. And we couldn't get a gig anywhere, so we tried everywhere. And then finally I decided one day that it wasn't that we lacked talent that was keeping us from getting gigs, it was the fact that we lacked representation. I don't know where I came up with this, but so I started a fictitious booking agency called Ochre Blue Booking and Promotions, and I put on my most professional voice I could muster at the time, and called some places and acted like I was a representative. I was a booking agent for our band, and it worked. Like, we got a gig somewhere. I scrounged up. This is before the internet, so I somehow got a contract, and I don't know where I got it from. I had a contract, so we had to sign a contract. I'm sure that people who owned the bar were highly disappointed when we walked in, but I think I kind of got started there, and then I actually ran that fictitious booking agency for numerous years. It was totally by accident, and one day I just realized that I had a real thing, and I had to get all my ducks in a row and make it legal. And at the same time, I started working for an arts council, which was a nonprofit, and we were raising money to build they put me in charge of it for some reason. I was 20 at the time. They put me in charge of raising money, $1.1 million to build a performing arts center out of an old electric company building. My boss and I raised the money and built this building, and I just kind of fell in love with nonprofit work since then, and I've done a lot of them over the last 20 years. See, a lot of the guitars in the museum are one-of-a-kind guitars that people who love guitars might not ever see unless they come here. And if they can't come here, it's really cool to see, Eric Johnson or John Five or Steve Earle or somebody sitting here talking about a guitar that they love that we have here, and they're actually kind of helping. I feel like the guitars are getting, the guitars are just as famous as the people who are playing them, and the Vault Sessions kind of has this power of like, hey, there's somebody that's a really great guitar player playing a super cool guitar, and it's a great way to kind of get the message out about our Guitars for Kids program. So all the artists know that we sell sponsorships to the Vault Sessions, and all the money that is made off that goes back to buying Guitars for Kids. I think Songbirds Foundation, our ultimate goal is to just provide kids with as much access to music as possible. So So I don't know if there ever is really an end goal. I mean, of course, if all of a sudden tomorrow every kid had an hour a day of music in every school who would have a purpose to be here, and I hope that happens. That'd be great. I think every nonprofit that you start, if you did it right, you should have an end goal like, oh, if this is all fixed, then we wouldn't have to be here, and we're here for a reason, and that is to provide music to kids. So I think that's kind of where we're going. I think that some of them are more apparent and drastic, obviously, and you kind of have a tendency to remember those. But you also, sometimes you don't quite get you don't get that from every kid. You find out later that, hey, just them being able to have a guitar in their life helped them deal with something that you didn't even know about at the time. It wasn't that apparent. I mean, we always have the cases where we have kids who have some severe issue, and those are really apparent and amazing transitions. But you also have these kids who will come to you later and be like, I was really struggling with some family issues at the time, and I really was able to escape through music and help, deal with the situation that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to deal with. It's just something that you wouldn't think of. You think about $100, and you're like, well, what can you buy with $100? There's not a lot that you can buy that has a life impact, right? Well, we found a way that $100 can have a massive impact. I think everyone should have access to music. Everyone should have access to art. And it's not just access; it's also just. I could hand this guitar to you, right? You may or may not figure out what to do with it. You might be able to figure it out. You might go online. Or we also provide them with, concrete resources that they can use. That's whether or not that's training a teacher to teach them, or providing one of our guitar teachers to go teach them, or provide our music therapist that comes and help them. Uses music to help them work through issues they're having at home, or physical ailments, or anything like that. I think that we're able to kind of give those things back to the community, and it's